everyone's welcome to Technology World Education. Today we are going to start a new chapter which is important for your board exam 2022.
While starting this chapter, a question arises in every mind: that what is reproduction? Organisms reproduce to continue the chain of life, to pass on its genes which are acquired over millennia. Reproduction is essentially a process by which individuals produce new individuals of the same kind. And this process is very important for the existence of life on Earth.
Different organisms reproduce in different ways. Let us have a detailed look at how different organisms reproduce. How do organisms reproduce? The organisms reproduce in two ways. Asexual reproduction. In this process, only a single parent is involved and no gamete formation takes place. Sexual reproduction. In this process, two parents are involved and gamete formation takes place. Meiosis is an important step in sexual reproduction. Explore more about reproduction. Log on to our website. Asexual reproduction is further divided into fission, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, vegetative propagation, spore formation. Fission. This process takes place in unicellular organisms. It is of two types. The diagram are given below. Binary fission. The organisms reproduce by binary fission only when adequate amounts of food and moisture is available. In this, the mother cell divides into two daughter cells, each containing a nucleus. Amoeba divides by binary fission. The diagram is shown below. Multiple fission. The unicellular organisms reproduce by multiple fission when the conditions are unfavorable with no proper amounts of food, moisture, and temperature. In this, the organism forms a cyst around itself. The nucleus divides, and each daughter nuclei is surrounded by a membrane. When the conditions are favorable again, the cyst dissolves and the daughter nuclei are released, which later develops into an individual cell. Plasmodium and entamoeba undergo this process. The diagram is shown as follows. Fragmentation. Body of an individual divides in many pieces after on maturation by itself. The diagram is shown below. Budding. In this process, an outgrowth is produced from the cell from which a new organism is developed. The developed organism remains attached to the parent organism and detaches only when it matures, leaving behind scar tissue. The process is prominent in yeast and hydra. The diagram is shown below. Regeneration. In organisms like hydra and planaria, we had observed that if they are cut into several pieces, each part grows into a new organism. This is known as regeneration. The specialized cells proliferate and produce a large number of cells. These proliferated cells undergo changes and form different cells and tissues. The sequential process of these changes is known as development. Vegetative propagation. In this, a new plant grows from the fragments of the parent plant or a specialized reproductive structure. The offspring are the exact clones of the original plant and there is no mixing of DNA. The common forms of vegetative propagations are grafting, layering, cutting, tuber, tissue culture, etc. Stem. Runners grow horizontally above the ground. The buds are formed at the nodes of the runners. Roots. New plants emerge out of swollen, modified roots known as tubers. Buds are formed at the base of the stem. Leaves. Leaves of a few plants get detached from the parent plant and develop into a new plant. Spore formation. During spore formation, the organisms form knob-like structures called a sporangium. This happens during unfavorable conditions in an inadequate supply of moisture and nutrients. When the conditions are favorable, they begin to grow. The sporangia contain spores that develop into new individuals. The spores are covered by thick walls that protect the spores until they come in contact with moisture and begin to grow. The diagram is shown below. Thank you for watching video. Like, subscribe and share this video to help your friends. For getting more updates, log on to our website.